segment is proudly brought to you by Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Pair Fie. And of course, the newspapers have a lot that they are reporting this morning. This, some way, somehow, like, you know, a bit of good news for those of you who have been complaining about the CD depreciation. There's been a bit of appreciation. As to whether it's significant or not, well, it's up to you, the business people, to decide on it. Because you've been calling on the government to do something about it. Now, let's not forget that the IMF, a tranche of money, is coming in. And it's also one of the reasons why we are seeing a bit of appreciation in the city. Now, we're going to take a look at that. And then we'll also take a look at the demonstrations, the anti-Galamsey protest that's been going on and will continue. Organized labor is still at a divided front with regards to going for this nationwide demonstration. Also, we know the Catholic bishops have decided, actually Greater Accra, it's not everywhere, have decided to embark on a prayer walk. And it's just to fight against Galamsey, to have our environment safe and clean and have access to portable drinking water. This is what they say. So it's going to be a prayer walk to project clean environment and also to fight against Galamsey. And there are other bodies who are also threatening to go on the street to fight against Galamsey. And so today we want to hear your voices like we've been doing all the time. 055-157-5757. 55-157-5757. A big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Fie. Whatever gadgets you are looking for, mobile phones, televisions, CCTV cameras, all of them, we've got you covered. All you need to do is to visit any of our shops or download the app on your phone, which is Franco Trading app, or visit our website for further inquiries, which is www.francotradingenterprise.com. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone Papa Pair Fee. I have my newspapers here to let you know what the headlines are saying for today. But before then, I think that is only right that I do the needful. And of course, you know, I'm not here alone. I'm here with my guest, and Adele will be joining later. But then Dr. Ramsey Inusa is here with us this morning. And of course, he's a senior national communications team member for Movement for Change. Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Rosalind.
How are you?
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
I can see the city is depreciating, but you're not depreciating.
Oh, it's appreciated. It has appreciated.
Oh, it's not significant.
Oh, Doc,
I
really?
mean, it is not significant.
What were you expecting it to be?
Rosalind, I mean, I was expecting it to be somewhere around maybe 3 cedis or 4 cedis to the dollar.
Wow.
Right.
From 16 to 4 cedis?
I mean...
That'll take magic.
Well, but that is why we need a competent economic manager, right? Somebody that can put in a very good fiscal policy and then bring in on board a policy that can industrialize this country, right? And then we can be able to increase our foreign reserves by exporting more of what we produce here locally.
Okay. Before we go into it, and I think it's time for me to read what the newspapers have for us, and then we can go into it. So I'll start with the Daily Graphic newspaper. The Daily Graphic newspaper. Zuma Lion, Nigeria secures 40 million euros waste management deal. Independent media regulation vital for clean elections, says Professor Berger. Ashanti Bauxite Limited unveils mine and refinery plans. Election not religious contest, GPCC to political parties. Okay, I'm happy about it because it has become I don't know, it's like a religious contest. This person's prophet says this prophet says that, this party will win. And you know, the funny thing, or the most interesting thing is having international, you know, prophets also prophesying about our elections. So why are you not prophesying about Nigeria? Why are you not prophesying about other countries? But whenever it's Ghana, we have foreign prophets even prophesying about our elections. That's how much we've made our elections religious. Because what we do at home is what will impact others in their homes to even look into ours and want to tap into it. Anyway, the Republic Press newspaper is the next newspaper, the Republic Press. Bakavamawa in limbo as bill request falls flat. Ghana returns to international financial markets after successful 13 billion US dollars Euro bond restructuring. GMA defies the labor strike, urges members to work on. Akpalu confident of victory after two prophetic dreams. I must say, Akpalu has actually told me about his dream before. So I'm not surprised that he says he has received a second dream. The first dream, he lost that power. And the second dream, I don't know if this time around he will not lose or is going to be what happened in the first dream. God's not in charge of elections. Otabel challenges status quo. And he's saying this because it looks like some prophets are touting themselves with the fact that they have the keys to elections. Keep 2024 presidential election prophecies private. Opoku Onyina to clergy. All right. The Ghanaian publisher newspaper, we never promised to provide a register within a week. EC says so. Jospon Group signs 40 million euro deal with a German entity. GMA snaps anti-galamsey strike. And the Northern region witnesses major strikes in education, health, and agri. So GMA says that they are not going to take part in it. Maybe I should just let you have a little idea of it since we are going to be speaking on strike. So GMA, the Ghana Medical Association, has directed its members to stay at post even as organized labor embarks on its intended strike on Thursday, October 10th, 2024. The association, in a statement, said all members are expected to continue providing full services without interruption. Okay, so if you belong to the Ghana Medical Association, you cannot embark on this particular strike. The Daily Dispatch newspaper is a final newspaper. Responsible Small-Scale Miners Association to embark on counter-demo against organized labor. Ghana Medical Association will not take part in organized labor strike. NPA's Dr. Abdul Hamid conferred with 2024 Africa Public Sector Leadership Award. And the Catholic Church does not support organized labor strike action. Catholic Bishops of Kumasi says so. So this is all with regards to the Dispatch, the Daily Dispatch newspaper. So it looks like organized labor, you're having a divided front. Has it become political or not? Because organized labor is not supposed to be controlled by the government. However, we are hearing, some government agencies even threatening that if you work in the government sector and you embark on this strike, you could lose your job. Yesterday, the CEO for GEHOC, Kofi Juma, did say that he's daring anybody who works at GEHOC to embark on this strike. You will lose your job if you do. Anyway, you're still watching Prime Morning, of course, as News Flash segment. I want to say a very big thank you to Franco Trading Enterprise for always having our back. Franco Trading Enterprise, still phone papa pair fee. Now, CD has recovered slightly against the dollar, and this is what it says. It says that the CD has gained 0.009% week on week to the American greenback and close to a mid-rate of 16.19 Ghana cedis. So 16.19 Ghana cedis, sorry. Now, this actually happened because it happened right after the announcement that Ghana had secured a significant participation rate from its Eurobond holders to restructure the 13 billion US dollars of its international debt. So right when we heard this one, the CD appreciated 0.009%. 0.09%. Sorry, 0.009. So 0.09%. That's what it is. And so those of you who are excited, yes, and those of you who think that this should have been better, well, let's see what the future holds with it. But Dr. Inusa was letting us know that he wished it had been better. Doc says he wished it had been better. Doc.
Yes, Rosalind. Unfortunately, we have a vice president who was once upon a time, now we know. So once upon a time touted as an economic wizard, right? somebody who would come and salvage the economic situation of this country. Today, the city, they are praising their achievements. What has happened is due to speculation because they have reached a staff-level agreement with the IMF. That was where it triggered that response. And it's not significant.
0.09%.
0.09% is not significant. What is the change? The CD has depreciated greatly under the leadership of Alhaji Bawumia. And there's no solution as to how they will be able to stabilize the CD once and for all. They've tried a lot of whimsical policies like the gold for oil, and it's not enjoying any benefit. That gold for oil policy is actually an avenue to launder gold out of this country, right? And of course, people from various sectors and
launder gold from this country. Are you saying that with a fact, or you're just saying it because you have heard that they are laundering gold? Because we don't know for a fact that they are laundering gold.
It's an avenue to launder gold.
Allegation.
It's a fact because then 45% of our gold export, right, is supplied by what? Galamsey. So if you are not a licensed miner to produce gold or mine gold and sell, of course, then what are you doing?
But that has nothing to do with
it. Has to, no, but they you know, there is an avenue for laundering gold. And there's a report like that. And next time when I come out...
There could be an avenue for laundering gold, but that has nothing to do with the government. That has nothing to do with gold for oil policy.
Do you think it has nothing to do with the government?
No, because if you're saying these things, you are alleging these things on the platform, then we need to have our facts.
I am telling you that there is a Turkish company that I am aware of.
Okay.
Right? That Turkish company does not have any license under PMMC, right, to transact in gold. They bring in private jets here, and then they come and purchase gold.
From the government?
Of course. I mean, But that's why I'm saying that. Where does the gold go to? It goes to Dubai.
No, but there's a difference between gold for oil and
Rosalind,
somebody smuggling gold out.
No, that's why I'm saying that the gold for oil policy is an avenue to smuggle gold out of this country. Do we even know who are the buyers of this gold? They said the Bank of Ghana. Do we know how much gold is being taken out of this country? Do we know how much the gold is being sold for? To whom it's being sold to? We don't know all these info. And so, of course, there is an undercover operation when it comes to the gold for oil policy. And this legitimate concerns that I'm laying as a citizen of this country, a learned one, I will not just come and sit here and say things that I don't know. I know my facts very well.
I agree with you that you're a very learned person, but we just have to make sure that we have our facts right.
I have my facts right. I know what I'm saying. If they are challenging, they can oppose to that, and then we might start that debate. Yes, if they are challenging, they can oppose to that, and we will start that debate. And we will prove beyond reasonable doubt that the gold for oil policy is an avenue to launder money out, gold out of this country. It is an avenue to launder gold out of this country. And there are various reports stating that.
I haven't seen any of those reports.
I'll share a report with you.
Please,
I'll share a report.
So for now, what you're saying, we don't know for a fact, and so these are your words, because we don't know for a fact.
I mean, Rosin, look at the level of degradation of our lands, especially our agricultural lands. Today, as a country, 60% of our water bodies are polluted, right? Most of these golds that are coming from Galamsey sites find their way to Dubai. That is the main place where trading is being done, right? And the UAE, trying to please I would say the foolishness of our leaders, has granted us $30 million to reclaim our lands. What is the cause of damage to our lands and water bodies? And what is that 30 million going to do?
Okay, I'll come back to you. Winston Taki has joined us, and Winston is our colleague, my colleague, right here on Multimedia. When we talk about data analysts, he tops them all. right here at Multimedia. Hi, Winston.
It's good to see you.
It's good to see you. CD has appreciated 0.09%.
Yes, interestingly. But before I get to the city, I would like to make some facts straight.
Please, Doc, your
the gold for oil policy actually started in 2022 when the government was having challenges stabilizing the city. So we saw city rising, depreciating astronomically with inflation hovering around 54% and the city depreciating by above 54% as well. And that over the years, we've seen it depreciating further downwards to 23%. So in order to stabilize the city, the government decided to go for that policy. So the program operates in two channels. First, the barter system, that is the barter trade, and the broker channel. First, the barter trade, suppliers willing to accept gold receive an equivalent volume of the Bank of Ghana gold, basically. So they would like to take gold from Bank of Ghana and receive equivalent. This involves transferring gold from the Bank of Ghana's account to supplier's account upon receipt of a quality certificate. The second aspect has to do with the Bank of Ghana sells gold to brokers who provide foreign exchange to pay for oil, ensuring that the liquidity without depleting forex reserves. So the government sees that the challenge must have to do with the forex reserves, and therefore bringing in this policy will help show the city's stability. So that was the idea behind the gold for oil policy. And I think the conversation about it being the means for money laundering is set for debate. The Bank of Ghana has consistently put out that that is not the case, although there's been allegations and information that that's what's been alleged. So
I think the only challenge here is the fact that there's lack of transparency in this, because I think that if the citizens had been, given all the details, or this deal had been very transparent to the citizens, of course, we'll not hear citizens alleging that it is for laundering. And so that's where I think the government has failed a bit, because the government should be able to tell us what is in there, what we are benefiting out of, what is given for the batter. But for now, nobody knows about it. And so it makes it a bit murky.
Oh, there's actually a structure of how the policy is supposed to operate. From the bulk oil distribution companies to suppliers, there's a chain of activity. And the central bank does not necessarily put its hand much into the operation. It's structured. But I think that will be a topic for another day. But today on the city, what is very important is that we've seen marginal appreciation of the value of the city from last week. And that has to do with perceptions basically from the Bank of Ghana and the Finance Ministry. That has to do with the restructuring of our Eurobond that came to light, and that brought about some bit of confidence on the city. Investors are looking at whether investing in the economy is something that will be quite viable. The government has consistently been saying that we are back to pre-COVID growth, where then growth was around 5.3%. We are seeing some marginal growth in the first half, second quarter of the year, and that also looks good for us. But one thing that is not quite reflective is the impact of the growth in the life of people. People don't necessarily feel the growth, although this debt restructuring, Eurobond restructuring has come to light. Still, the lagging effects of transformation in the currency is still existing.
What's the cost for that?
It will take time. Government is looking at the macro aspects, but when you come down to the reality, especially the pricing of goods, inflation is the rate of change of pricing. The rate will slow, but the price will still remain the same. You don't see prices coming down in terms of product. All you see is supply increasing. For instance, we go to the market and tomato prices are high. Surely, some will say 3 tomatoes for 20 cedis. The next week you go, because suppliers are of the view that when they don't sell it quickly, they tend to lose value, and people don't have enough money to also buy. They intend to give more for less. So that is what is happening now. So people are saying we have enough tomatoes in the market. That means the government is doing what? That's not the case. It's because people are protecting their investments.
Okay. Adel Ba Ibrahim, who is representing the NDC, has joined us. Hi, Adel.
Hi, Rosalind.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah, I'm good. Yourself?
I'm good. I'm very good by God's
Mashallah,
grace.
mashallah. We've reduced your age again.
To
12.
Oh, wow. What a shock.
Winston,
that sounds good.
So that was the appreciation I was talking about. You see? He didn't come to me the first compliment. Welcome. Welcome, Nosi.
Good morning. ma'am.
Anyway,
Good morning.
Adele,
You're doing the Lord's
the
work.
city's appreciation, is it good enough? For you being NDC, I know you say it's not good enough, but of course, we've seen some change.
Rosalind, let me say good morning to yourself, my brother Ramsey, and then to Winston, and to indicate that it's a long road. And the reason why it's a long road is because people are basically struggling. The difference of what we have seen and the appreciation that we have seen, it doesn't really make much difference in the lives of the average person. It is almost as though you have cup of water or a mug. Then you take less than a drop, a tiny, tiny, tiny drop of, say, sand, and drop it inside. It doesn't change its color. It doesn't have any effect on it. In fact, you just may be able to drink that water. What we're saying to them is that, yes, it is good that it has appreciated. We are praying that it would have actually appreciated more. But we're saying in the way more than that. If we start hitting like 10%, we start hitting like 15, 20%, people would feel the difference. I always sit here and I make this comparison. Winston, if you were being paid 2,000 Ghana cedis in 2016, that was supposedly over $470 as of 2016. That's the value of 2,000 in 2016. Today, the value of that same 2,000 is about $110 or $115. That's what it means. What $476 would buy and what $117 would buy if you're buying anything in the United States, for example, is not the same. So people are continuously losing their resources. People are continuously losing their funds. The government keeps wasting. The government keeps wasting. There are ways we can do to appreciate our dollar. We're not doing it. The basics of the dollar is simple. Everybody understands it.
What are the ways to appreciate it?
I'll tell you something. Anytime something is scarce, it is expensive. This is basic economics. Anytime something is scarce, it is expensive. So when you gather all the money that you have in the system, and you go buy rice, you go buy sugar, you go buy oil, you're buying gas from Nigerian gas, and the dollars in the system becomes very minimal. Certainly because it is scarce in the system, when you want a dollar, you would have to pay a lot more to buy it. Take the dollar as a commodity. So it's scarce. It is not in the system. So before you used to buy it at, say, 4.2. Reason why you'd buy 16 cedis now is because it is extra scarce. So each time it gets scarce, it keeps going up. Each time it gets scarce, it keeps going up. What we did during our time, when Doomsor hit us, resources were not coming from the ports. We had less, taxes getting from the port. You had the price of gold on the international market. Yes, international market. I'm bringing you international market. The price of gold on international market, the price of crude, dropped down and all of that. We weren't also getting the taxes that we actually wanted. Doomsor actually hit us, and things were getting a bit messy. We decided to do a few things. Part of what we did to help stabilize the city at the time was that huge project that we actually placed money into, which is Statuabo. The amount of money we used to carry to go out there and buy gas from Nigeria was huge. Part of those same plans was why we decided to do something with the commander. Fortunately, it was left to basically rot. Part of what we did was what we did with the pharmaceuticals. We gave them $25 million to produce certain medications that were not being produced here, so we can actually keep the dollar that we have in the system. When you do import substitution, everybody knows that. This government knows that. What they said to us was to come and do one district, one factory, one village. Very good. One village, one dam. The idea was that they were going to set up these factories, produce certain things that we require in this country, certain things that would have to travel out there and get it. We actually produce them here. Aside that, we're going to produce things here and then push them out in order to get more dollar into the system. That was the plan. That is import substitution. When you do that, what happens is that you end up being able to peg your dollar at a certain price. This whole issue about COVID and what...
But Adele, it's quite surprising you're saying this, because in 2016, one of the reasons why you were voted out of power was because of the cedi depreciation.
I'm not disputing
Absolutely.
that. I'm not disputing that. I'm saying that the amount of depreciation that we saw and the kind of investments that we did at the time, if things were held in that manner, the city wouldn't have gotten to 16 Ghana cedis as we are today. That's what we're saying. We're saying that the fact that we had left all these investments before we left power, imagine that today, as we're speaking, Alan Chamantin was able to complete, the Commander Sugar Factory. Do you know how much dollars would keep in the system by just not importing sugar? That's what we're saying.
A factory that caused a loss.
Minister, please.
When your time comes, you can speak to it. When I hear these issues
I'll give you 30 seconds.
Yes, when these issues come up, I just laugh over it. If somebody is doing something which is unacceptable and you came and you felt that somebody had done something wrong with Commander Sugar Factory, what you were supposed to do was to do the right thing. It is not to say that you have left it. That is what you have done with Saglima. It doesn't make any sense. If you say that there's a problem with Saglima, complete it. Let the people of Ghana benefit from it. Go after those who are there, who you think that have created any financial loss to the state. You go after them. That's what you do. You don't leave it to rot and then indicate that whatever money has been placed inside should just go to war. No, it doesn't make any sense.
Okay, Adele. Thank you very much. Sir?
Yes, before I come, I want to do some economic comparison between Ghana and Malaysia.
Sure, Doc.
And after this analysis, right, I'm sure you would want to give away your Ghana card as a Ghanaian.
No, I won't.
And no, I mean,
you
no.
know the analysis. You haven't given away your card.
No,
Me, I should
no. I mean, under this too. Sheila, if you're ready, please project it.
What is happening?
Okay. So
Okay.
You continue. We'll do
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So, Rosalind, we tend to always lose focus as a country. And the reason why we're having all these challenges is because of the weakness of our economic structure, right? In 1957, Malaysia and Ghana gained independence. So we started off our self-governance at the same time. The GDP per capita of Ghana in 1957 was $356. That of Malaysia was $323, right? Fast forward, our main economic activity at that time was exporting gold, timber, and then cocoa. Malaysia was also exporting rubber, tin, palm oil as their base commodity, right? In 1957, right, to 2023, we've all enjoyed some form of political stability, but then if you look at the unrest that happened in 1966 to 1981, during that period, where their founder, Jerry John Rawlings, was Ghana's longest-serving head of state. And I'll make a reference to that later on. I'll tell you why he is part of the problem that we're facing today.
Okay. Now,
we had some challenges with several coups and political instability. Malaysia enjoyed some stable and intermittent challenges along the way, right? Then, when it comes to economic diversification, we had limited diversification of our commodities, right? Malaysia had early diversification, and then they moved into manufacturing and industrialization, right? And in 1971, they introduced a new economic policy that created specialized economic zones, right? They invested heavily in education that ensured that their citizens were highly skilled in science, technology, and engineering. And so it attracted a lot of FDIs, which was one of their economic drivers. Ghana, during that period, we could not attract FDIs, right? Then fast forward. If you look at the education, as I reiterated, right? Malaysia then transformed their economy into the third industrial revolution, right? And then they invested heavily in IT. So you realize that in Malaysia currently, a lot of smart chips are being produced by Malaysians, right? They have a robust car assembling plant, an aerospace assembling plant. What we are saying is that since our independence to date, right, we've not been able to have a strong economic structure, right? The NDC and the MPP have enjoyed 32 years. 32 years. And let me give you some analysis.
The NDC and the NPP.
The NDC and the NPP have governed this country
for
32 years.
32 years.
That is the duopoly we are talking about.
Okay.
And that Ghana's problem, right? Ghana's problem, as we see it today, is as a result of the duopoly of the NPP and the NDC. Now, in 1992, right, the GDP per capita of Ghana was $395, right? That of Malaysia was $3,193. Today, what is the GDP per capita of Ghana? 2,203. Malaysia's 1992 GDP per capita is far better than that of Ghana. So Malaysia in 1992 is better than Ghana.
In these 32 years, what was your founding member?
In these 32 years, my founding member was not a vice president.
Was he not a part of the government?
I'm coming.
Was he not a minister of state?
He had his own
role as AT.
He played
from the year 2000 to the year 2008. Your founding member was a vital person in the NPP. In the year 2016, all the way to the year 2021, your founding member, in fact, 2022, your founding member was a vital member. You take him out of the 32 years?
I'm not taking him out. I'm not taking him out.
Okay.
There's something we call collective responsibility and individual accountability. You can do a pocket of effectiveness analysis on his tenure as the Minister for Trade and Industry under President Kufuor's era. Under President Kufuor's era, we saw an increase, right, in the private sector growth. And you know that. It was the era where the private sector grew.
You didn't take President Kufuor out.
You
complained about the duopoly.
You are asking me about his responsibility.
And he was in there. He was a part of it. And anytime we talk about government, we do not talk about individual. Once you're a part of it, and you were not even just a party member who nobody knows, but rather played a vital role, obviously we cannot take you out.
Rosalind, that's why I said that you see, we have to make this analysis fair. That is why you cannot associates the flaws of this MPP government, this current MPP government, with my candidate.
Somebody who was a minister of state?
He was a minister of state, but what did he do, right? In the history of our Fourth Republic, right, we have 5 of the leading automotive companies assembling vehicles in Ghana. You have just a minute to
learn, but let me ask you this.
Yes.
He was a minister of state, trade and industry.
Yes.
Promised us one district, one factory.
Yes.
What happened?
We have over 169 factories currently operational, right? Now, in the 1D1F policy, they shortchanged his budget allocation, and that is a fact. If you look at the money allocated to the 1D1F policy, right, it was little to 400 million Ghana cedis. How much did NAPCO get? How much did the YEA get? NEIP get? They had in excesses of 2 billion.
Okay.
So, of course, if you gave him 400 million Ghana cedis, to implement this policy, he has been able to provide 170,000 direct and indirect jobs. He has been able to formulate an automotive policy that today, 5 of the largest automotive companies, global automotive companies, are assembling vehicles in Ghana, and we've assembled about 4,700. And Ghana currently has the capacity to assemble 125,000 to 140,000 vehicles a year. That the NDC has never ever done in the history of this country.
The NPP did it.
The Honorable Alan Kojo Tramante did it.
Why did you let him go then?
Pardon?
Why did you let him go?
Why did who let him go?
So for you...
No, he's asking a question. I need clarity in your question.
Your party, MPP.
Which party? I don't belong to the NPP. So that is even
so it's fair.
A wrong statement in the beginning. That is prejudice. And it's normal. We get this all the time, right?
Okay. Anyway.
No, Rosalie, let us educate them sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes they intentionally do it. Oh, no, it doesn't matter, but he still needs education. He's a Ghanaian. He's going to vote. Every member of the Movement for Change is not an ex-member of the MPP. Let me set this record straight. We have people that are from the MPP who belong to the Movement for Change. We have other interest groups, other citizens who belong to a diverse political views that belong to the Movement for Change through our Alliance for Revolutionary Change. So I want to set the record, my brother. I was from the MPP.
You were with them.
I was from the MPP.
My question is based on... Understand. My question is based on the perception that the Alan Tramante himself has touted, like consistently delivered on its words, especially when it comes to policy.
Yes.
And I'm saying based on the fact that why did the MPP let him go? Because if the man was transforming and the policy, just as you mentioned, it was shortchanged based on the budget allocated to to the ministry.
Yeah.
And that particular policy, 1D, 1F, 1D, 1 district, 1 dam.
No, one district, one factory. No, don't
Let
mix
me
it.
stay on. Let's stay on
One
that.
year,
Don't mix it
Let me
up,
stay on
please.
that one.
Don't go
There's
on that.
nowhere
tangent.
in this world that you send that policy that no government will prioritize it. If we had prioritized as a nation, not just as a government, but as a nation, this would have transformed Ghana within
Thank
the
you
last
very
4
much.
years. Basically.
Thank you
If
very
we
much.
want to stabilize the city,
Yes.
if we want to see unemployment rate come down, if we want to ensure income inequality, that would have changed everything.
So you see, he's preaching the GTP.
No, I'm basically telling you the fact. Basically.
That is a fact, and that is why we are saying that we were shortchanged.
Okay, your time is
Do you
up.
understand what I'm saying? We were shortchanged.
Doc, your time is up.
Anyway.
So you know, Winston, the issue here to strengthen the city is quite. I don't know if we'll ever be able to strengthen it more than what it is now. Retail market, 16 cities, 22 persons. And I think when you if you are lucky to go to Bank of Ghana, it's less. But people are calling for more. Like you said, it's not going to be, we don't see it. But will we see anything better in future when the money drops?
It's been projected to basically hit between 16 Ghana cities, 97 pesos before the close of the year. Marginal differential of about 2% going forward. But the challenge will be difficult considering the outlook. Any government that comes to power after January, basically, is going to have a lot on their table because there are debt issues that government has to confront with, from the energy sector to reservicing restructured debt, some payment that has to be done. We are seeing the light being stable now. Basically, it happens every time during election year. After the election year, we end up coming back to the same trend. Independent power producers.
But during the first 2 years, so don't we see some sort of stability when, after elections? Because I think that after elections, cities somehow strengthens.
No, every time, it appears consistently, we always find ourselves coming out of the IMF during election year. And those periods, we tend to see good indicators. Right now, the same thing happened under Mahama, where he was leaving power. We saw growth rate being the fastest growth in Africa. We saw the same thing happen every third year in the IMF program. And that is what we're seeing. So it's not surprising. The same thing happens to our policy rates. Anytime we start seeing downward trend of policy rates, that means we are also coming out of the IMF, just as we saw a downward trend of policy rate being reviewed downwards. And that is something that happens consistently. So for the first 2 years of every government in power, there is inflow of foreign donations.
Right.
The grants coming to the government. But the only challenge this time around is that government has no access confidently in the international market. Although based on this restructuring, we are there, but we can't borrow based on the risks associated with us. We need more ratings from S&P, Moody's, Fitch to give us more grounding for people to see.
Fitch recently said that we're doing well, right?
Fitch can say that, but investors have their facts on the ground. It will surprise you that outside investors have more information about the government or the finance structure of Ghana than even most of the ministries.
That's
It
why
will
we
surprise
can't
you.
borrow?
We can't borrow not just because we can't borrow. Where we are, our risk is high. If anyone gives us money, our ability to pay based on those terms will be difficult because we've already restructured some of the monies we were supposed to pay people. Government is still speaking. What we just borrowed was just Eurobond. Now, bilateral creditors, we are yet to even negotiate with them. The IMF money has not yet been approved, but the negotiation has been successful. And all this will come back to show our reserves.
And the
subsequently.
negotiations, the consequences, what? There's a hold on employment? That's what it is?
No, that's not the case.
What's the case this time?
This time around is just basically government proving that based on the performance, some of the target, they gave a June 2024 target, and surprisingly, government has met all those targets. Inflation has come down. We've seen the policy rate being reviewed. We've seen marginal stability in the currency. There's been economic recovery being admonished, and that all these things are there. But if you look at those figures, if you technically look at it, you realize that the growth rates are not quite reflective because we saw growth in the gold sector. If you look at the GDP assessment, gold increased, cocoa marginally. So you can see the pace. Why gold has been consistent, we see mining also contributing to the first quarter GDP. Mining since the government institution of the Good for Poly policy, the sector's growth has been reflective from mining sector to the gold sector, and that is what we've been witnessing because of government's Good for Oil policy. Recently, government also introduced a new investment portfolio, which is the gold coin, Bank of Ghana gold coin. And
yeah.
Yes, and this is to ensure.
Wait, I want clarity on it. Is it not the same as what what's the name called? That place, Men's Gold was doing?
This is not Men's Gold, it is Bank of Ghana gold.
No, I mean, they were selling coins. They were selling gold coins. So is it not the same?
I can only clarify or speak based on the information I know about Bank of Ghana. But for Men's Gold, I didn't understand the nitty-gritty of the operations because of the kind of interest.
So will this one strengthen the city?
Oh, this, according to the central bank, is to mop up excess liquidity in the system and also to provide another avenue for investment. Because if you look at currently the market, it's difficult to even advise someone on what to invest in because of the rates and because of the risks associated with a lot of investment. Today, you invest in this structure and you realize people are telling you that, is it going to be hit by restructuring? Am I going to lose my investment? So you have to be very careful. Apart from real estate and some bonds that you can invest in, it's difficult to really give an investment advice.
All right, so we'll get to know more about.
Let me clarify that. This is not another Men's Gold, basically, because this is, according to the central bank, you have to have about 10,000 Ghana cedis in your account to have access to the coin.
Okay.
And even the coin is not a medium for exchange. You can't go and say, I'm buying a house, receive this coin.
Okay.
You can't go and
but
do
can
that.
I melt it and use it for jewelry?
That one has to do with the central bank.
Okay.
I can't really advise on that.
I just want to know if it's real gold.
But it's 99% real gold.
Okay.
99.9% real gold, according to the central bank.
Okay, that's good then.
Yeah, so if you want to invest, and one thing that is very important that people need to understand is that it's not all rosy. The gold market itself is subject to fluctuation and currency depreciation. So it's very risky. If you buy, today you can be selling for $99,000. Tomorrow it can return back to $5. The gold market, it fluctuates quickly.
So you need to do a lot of research on it.
Yes, but surprisingly,
from
last year, December last year to middle of this year, it has increased to over 243%
It'll bring us
value.
to the Galamsey conversation because we are trying to fight Galamsey, where we know that the CEO of Minerals Commission has told us that if we try to halt Galamsey or we try to halt mining activities, we are going to be affected. I'll ask you these questions when we talk about the Galamsey, but still on the city appreciation, Adele, I know you wanted to reply some things.
I just wanted to add a few things. I heard Ramsey, and I indicated earlier, Roslyn, that the idea of the one district, one factory was to solve a problem. I always say that when you have set a target and you know that this is what you intend to achieve, and you spend so much energy and you're not there, the rest of it doesn't really make any sense. You go and hustle and hustle and hustle. You say, I need a laptop to work. Winston says, I need a laptop to work. And all I need from this laptop is to be able to use Word. And then you go get the laptop and you can't use Word. It doesn't make any sense. The idea of that was to stabilize your city, to stabilize your daughter. You're saying you're producing items, 169, according to you, Ramsey, are operational.
I didn't say...
How many is operational?
Correct. Let me correct you. I said
okay.
Over 169.
Mm-hmm.
Over
169.
Operational.
Were built.
Were built.
Yes.
But they are not operational.
Of course, they are operational.
All
169 were
operational. So we have
some of them. Some of them. No, let me clarify. You asked me to clarify. Some of them, like that's Casa de la Ropa or whatever, they had challenges with supply of raw materials and also challenges for liquidity from the banks during COVID, because of COVID. So some definitely had challenges. I'm not going to shy away from saying that. But he really delivered on his mandate. That's what I'm saying.
So over 169 were built from scratch?
Yes.
From scratch?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad he's saying that he has built it from scratch. And very soon we'll come back and I'll point this out to you. These are the people that went to B5. You know B5? They've been producing nails. They produce nails. When you go to Agbobulushi here, you see B5 company. They've been in existence for God knows how long. Went there and gave them a little money and then said, one district, one factory. When you're on your way to Nsawam, there's this pure water company by the roadside. It's just on the roadside. You can see one electric factory. That company has been there for God knows how many years now. Stop these kind of things. What I'm telling you is that what you claim you have done is supposed to solve a problem. What is the use of this camera looking at me if the camera cannot project me to the wall? What is the use? What is this use? If you spend $10,000, $2,000, $20,000 and you buy this camera and can't project, what is the use? We need to reason. Then again, he says, oh, Alan, he's not part, and the duopoly. But Ramsey, not too long ago, less than a year ago, you were part of this duopoly. You were part of it. What has changed? You see,
what has changed is that they are no more part.
No problem. You are no longer part, no problem.
But you are part.
But don't extricate. I'm coming.
You are still part.
No. You see,
you are still part.
I'm coming.
You are still part.
When you're communicating to us,
you are still part.
Oh,
Ramsey, please let me land.
When you're communicating to us, if I were you, this is what I would say. I would say that it is true that over the last 32 years, perhaps between us and the NDC, or between us and the MPP, we could have done better. But for certain reasons, we haven't been able to. There's an opportunity for us to do better. We have come to realize that we joined the wrong political party for the last, 32 years or 16 years. And we have come to the conclusion that we need to now move out and do something different. And I am, but I'm saying that, I'm saying that will resonate more than you. Oh,
no,
Ramsey, don't do that.
Okay. I checked the time. It's only 4 minutes right now.
That will resonate better than telling us that you're not part of the problem. When in reality, less than a year ago, you were. So if you are saying that the NDC and the MPP are this country's problem, you cannot extricate yourself from it when you have just left a year ago. What happened to the rest of the 31 years? What were you doing? Again, Alan Tremantin, that Alan was part of, and then Alan has done A, B, C, D. You sit here, any responsible person, any responsible father who finds himself in a situation that Alan found himself in, you want to help the country. Millions and millions of Ghana cedis are being pumped somewhere, and then we're not seeing the effect that we're doing. What did Alan say? We saw Kennedy Japan was sitting here. Kennedy didn't have, ministerial appointment. Anytime something was going wrong with the government, Kennedy was out there and then he was shouting. Alan never mentioned anything wrong. Alan has never said there's anything wrong with this government until he lost his election.
That is a lie. That is a lie.
Okay, you don't do that.
That is a lie. If you have nothing to say,
don't do that. I am saying that.
That is a lie.
Until Alan lost his elections, he never saw anything wrong with the MPP. He never shouted. He never said this is what is going on.
So wait a minute. When it comes to these two political parties, they are not, you are not even a political party.
We're a movement.
You're a movement.
Yes.
But when it comes, because it's election year, we'll keep on hearing these things. Do you think that the duopoly is a problem?
It's interesting to say the duopoly is a problem and it's a solution. Yes, because I think that we need two diverse views, basically.
Okay. More than two.
If we look at the numbers, the structures of these parties, both of them are well structured. They have systems, they have organizations within the parties. That makes it more organized. If you look at how most of the structures help them to meet their responsibilities or spread information across, tells you that they are located all over the country. I'm just kind of torn between when it comes to the interest of Ghanaians. When it comes to the interest of Ghanaians, it's difficult to see both of them decide that this is what is interested, this is what Ghanaians are interested in, but this is what the party is interested in. So I'm always torn in between, because when we talk about the interest of Ghanaians, right now Ghanaians need good health. Ghanaians need hospitals. Ghanaians need good water.
Jobs.
Right now, Galamsey issue, Ghanaians need quality water. This is what Ghanaians are interested in. If you want to govern people, you have to listen to what their demands are. You can't govern based on how you feel. You must govern based on what the people are telling you. Who gave you the power? The people. You're asking them to come and vote for you on the 7th of December. But why do you need the power? You have to understand, you yourself that you're asking for it, why do you need it? And if you want to be a listening government, you must consider the leadership. Sometimes what surprises me is the people who advise the government. I wonder whether they are really down to the people. They know what the people are going through. You realize that once people are voted into power or office, the people that they ate kenke with washed their clothes during campaign season. They don't see them throughout the 4 years. So how do you know? How do you know what they've been going through? How do you know how their condition of service, their school, how they feed their children? You can say you have a good policy, but have you gone down to assess from the same individuals how the policy
If the
has affected
policy
them?
is working,
Yes.
if they are okay with it or they are not okay with
You
it.
can't sit in your office and receive reports and reviews and say, okay, based on the report, people will give you a report, write good English, because they also have to be paid.
Yeah.
And they have to also prove that
Anyway.
why they have to be paid.
Rosalind.
Well, I'll come back to you, Doc. And so I just want to say that your vote is your power. And so, like what Winston said, who are you voting for? Is it somebody who has your interests at heart, or you're voting for party political colors? Well, Winston, thank you so much for joining us this morning. We are very grateful that you had time. But I think that you should make time for us to discuss this, gold coin thing.
Yeah,
we really need to understand it, because some people are thinking it's the same thing as men's gold, but you've clarified it that it's not. However, if I want to invest in it, I'll need more education.
Viewers should expect, we are also trying to get some information directly on the gold coin from the Bank of Ghana themselves. So over this week, we'll give you updates on that.
Thank you very much, Winston. We are very grateful. Winston Taki is one of ours. In fact, he's mine. He's a data analyst, and of course, you can trust him with regards to all the numbers that he brings to us. Thank you once more. It's time for me to read some messages, and I'll start with this one. This one says, Galamsey, the issue is not who issues more licenses. The issue is our water bodies being polluted. Please. This is from Abladi Ifiekuma Zongo. With barely 2 months to be kick NPP out, they are assuring Ghanaians that under Baumia, our living conditions will be improved. Improved conditions of living, my food, from Abladi. Hey, Abladi, this one there, you are sure. Al Hassan Cisse from Zenu Central says, this Galamsey crisis is the lack of political and traditional leadership failure. These politicians and the chiefs are deeply involved in it. That is why they fight. That's why the fight can never be won by them. So the strike of labor is in order. Labor has become, it's now in limbo, I must say, because as of now, even if you don't take care, your boss comes and says, you can't go, you can't go. Let's not forget that yesterday, Kofi Juma has threatened people in Gehok that if they should embark on this, they'll be sacked. Rosalind, good morning. Gold for oil is a great scam. It is the way of achieving their Ejapa gold royalty plant. Baumia is a great scammer. Koresko Zakaria says that, Baumia, you are the most... Oh, wow, Koresko. Haji Hamza Pig Farm says, good morning, my dear Rosalind. In fact, something happened yesterday during your morning program, and I'm sad and worried. A serious allegation was made by one of your panelists who speak for Alan. According to him, Major Mahama died in Dencheboso simply because he went there to protect the Galamsey site of President. No, he didn't mention President Mahama, though. He didn't mention that he went to protect sites of President Mahama. However, I told him to give us proof with regards to the kind of allegation that he was making. So I'm sorry about it, and I'm really sorry about it. But, however, I'll make sure that he gives us proof to whatever he was saying, because I did tell him that he doesn't have proof, and so what he's saying, he cannot say it. And he said he had proof. So I challenge him to give us proof when he comes back. So please and please again, I understand where you're coming from. Thank you very much, Al Hassan. Al-Haji Hamza, yes. So Al-Haji, I will make sure that if he claims he has proof, I'll let him bring the proof. So please, sorry about that. Good morning, please. They should stop measuring our cedi using their exchange rate. This doesn't reflect on the ground and our pocket. Foodstuff prices will always remain the same no matter how the cedi reduce. The only way that can reduce food prices in the market is when there is abundance of food in the market that can change food prices to reduce. Ghanaians are suffering, and they are saying that cedi has reduced. We don't see that in our pockets. NPP should go home and rest until 2038. Akonse Gariba from Tamale says that President Nana has fought Galamsey more than any other leaders in this country, and there's a need for every Ghanaian to support the president to have a successful fight against the Galamsey in Ghana. Those who are insensitive and pretending to be fighting against Galamsey, like the leadership of Organized Labour and NDC Party, will soon be exposed. Ghana needs a parallel Organized Labour now to fight for the interests of workers in Ghana. The current Organized Labour leadership, our politicians, are not working for the interests of the workers in Ghana. I also urge many associations to join the Medical Association to stop the Organized Labour leadership from using workers to achieve their political interests. Good morning, Roslyn. It's now clear Labour Union call was not a collective decision by all member union across the nation. It's interesting to hear from other union within same union distancing themselves from this irrational call. No person in his or her right sense will tell doctors to go on strike. Thank God our doctors are men and women of integrity. Fuel prices has been reduced twice, but nobody's talking about it. Let it be increased and we'll hear all the noise. Of course, when it increases, they will talk about it. So because that was but we did speak about it last week when fuel price dropped. We didn't use it as a topic, but we touched a bit on it. Musa Abatua in Asawasi says, good morning. Yesterday on your show, Movement for Change. Okay, so I have clarified it. I'm sorry. This thing, I've told him to he's going to bring his proof, so don't worry. But I did tell him that, you know, what he said, we didn't know anything about it. Good morning, Rosalie. Ask the alarm man to stop talking like he was not part of the problems we are facing today. You people mess everything for Ghana. You're talking like it all stop talking like, I don't know. Okay. Morning, please. Please tell the movement man there that he and his party won't even get 1,000 votes nationwide come 7 December, so he should give us a break from fire. But the whole membership, they are more than 1,000, so why won't they get 1,000? NPP and NDC are the same. We should vote them out. Tara from Hohoi. Good morning. Monitoring you live from Tamale. My name is
Zulkarnain.
Zulkarnain. My regards to Dr. Ibrahim. Okay, Zulkarnain.
Zulkarnain.
Good morning, madam. Are you hailing the city to dollar rate, or you are indirectly teasing the other guy? 16 Ghana cedis, 22 pesos. We are never serious in the country. Judgment Day draws near, and we know where to put the NPP. Good morning to our incoming president, John Dramani Mahama. Okay. Good morning, host. Why do you dispute the gold scandal in Ghana, or you just playing the devil's advocate? Gold scandal is a reality in Ghana, and Al Jazeera has an evidence of gold scandals involving public officials and Alistair Bathias. Journalists are supposed to hold government accountable, not to hold brief for them. You are either for the truth or against. Pawili. So gold for oil and that gold scandal thing, they are two different things, though. So the gold for oil, so that gold scandal is different from the gold for oil.
Yeah, it's different.
So we were talking about gold for oil, and if there's an allegation of gold for oil or money laundering,
But I just showed you a report.
on laundering of gold for oil, and I am not in the known, I will not sit on national TV and say I'm in the known. I'm sorry, because that scandal from Al Jazeera is a different conversation altogether. Thank you very much. Sami Boachi Asamanka said the city is gaining significant strength, which tells you that the current government, led Nana and Bawumia, are working hard to make things work for the good people of Ghana. Let's keep supporting NPP by way of voting massively for Dr. Bawumia and NPP to protect the free SHS. And it's possible. Number one, regards to, okay, so as for the regards, Honorable Akisme Sekribekwai, the city's recent recovery against the dollar is actually a positive sign for Ghana's economy. Just last week, the city gained some grounds against the dollar and other major foreign currencies. This upstick is likely linked to Ghana securing a significant financial deal. Whilst the current exchange rate of 16 cities, 22 pesos to the dollar might seem high, is essential to consider the broader economic context and long-term trends. It's also worth noting that the government's efforts, including those by President Nana Addo and Dr. Bawumia, have contributed to Ghana's economic resilience. Honorable Akisme. Good morning, Rose. I like your panel composition, a neutral media person looking at things from neutral perspective. Thank you so much. Adele is funny. Adele, they say you're funny. You want to show MPP that what to say about 1D, 1F. You can't even communicate about NDC policies. How much more the NPP? Stop the comedy and tell us your records on factories built. Most of the factories built by Kwame Nkrumah were sold, and most of them collapsed under PNDC and NDC. I challenge them to state only 6 factories built by Mahama. I know because he can't mention. He will run away. Master planner from Kintampo. Adele, will you be able to mention? Good morning. They keep on saying the good people of Ghana. They should know that if they are good people, they are evil rulers. Emmanuel. Good morning, Rosalind. Please ask Mr. Ramsey the things he mentioned that they are bringing up. Is it with the help of IMF? If yes, then they should forget it. And if no, they can. Then can they survive assassination? Hey. Who
No,
assassinated?
no, no. But what is the message about?
Exactly. This one I don't understand.
But
you.
copy that number. I mean, this is.
No, I mean, I didn't even see what happened. But I mean,
No,
that was a wrong message to have.
But you can't
No.
threaten.
No. So don't
people
worry.
with that.
No,
oh,
but
we get that a lot, so that's fine.
you get that a lot.
Oh, of course, we get that a lot.
You get threats a lot.
Of course, we get threatened a lot. I don't know if Adele has, but it's normal. I mean,
Wow.
For our job, you know.
But whoever this person you are, that was a wrong message you sent. Please don't send us that message again. I'm telling you, don't send us that message again. It's completely unacceptable. Good morning, Madam Rosalind. Sincerely speaking, NDC and some element within TUC is setting up this country and preparing the pace for violence and doom for economic lock-up. TUV, or is it TUV or TUC? TUC should stay away from so-called strike. I'm a member of NAT, but some of us are not in favor of the so-called strike. It's politically motivated to give undue advantage to opposition in upcoming elections. It's clear that former President Mahama and NDC have no better policy and program for Ghanaians. Hence, they have resulted in war drums. The intention of protests have fallen flat. While Dr. Baumia and Dr. Napo are informing Ghanaians about the policies and programs to Ghanaians, NDC and former President Mahama is busily attacking Electoral Commission. Say no to NDC and former President Mahama, Dr. Baumia and Napo, their best. Okay. Good morning, Rosalind. Dr. Baumia is exceptional. Baumia is winning 60.5%. Hey, are you sure? 60.5, that's nice. We have lived in this illegal mining and its effects for years. It's really dangerous for our lives. If the agitations are not for political expediency, can we also tackle the fight and resume all the demonstrations and strike after 2024 general elections? That may also help. But yeah, that will help. So if we will continue. We will not stop. Good morning, dear Rosalind. You see, the hypocrites can no longer hide. Do you know that the NPP office girl, the election referee, visited their party? I don't understand. Sometimes when you're sending the messages, let's stick to the topic. I'm begging you. When you go and you give me allegations and all of that, I cannot read your allegations. I don't have your proof. So don't allege anything on the show. M. Bash from Democratic Republic of Woolensea. Good morning, Rosalind. The protesters have allowed themselves to be foolishly influenced by hooligan NDC unguided elements, which landed them into the situation they find themselves in today. If President Akufo-Addo was busily fighting against the Galamsey, the incompetent Mahama and his limping NDC were busily pulling down the efforts of the government. For us to be successful in the fight against illegal mining, the desperate and incompetent Mahama and his scam NDC must be called out and called to order. Greetings. I'll take this one. And then, good morning to you in Ghana. We are one people with a common destiny. We must put aside our differences and show love and respect towards one another, regardless of our religious body. Whether we are Christians, Muslims, or traditionalists, we all share a belief in the existence of God. It is this common belief that should unite us rather than divide us. I'll come back and I'll read a few messages. We are back on the demonstrations. Yes, you'll make your point, don't worry. So we are back on the demonstrations where we are fighting against Galamsey. The fight continues. However, as these demonstrations are ongoing, government has also decided to put out some stringent measures. What are we talking about? Deployment of military officers on the grounds where Galamsey is taking effect. Also, the government has revoked LI 2462. The government has named water bodies and forest reserves as red zone areas. Are these enough to fight Galamsey, or we need more with the fight against Galamsey? Dr. Inusa, you can make your point and then go into the topic, please.
Rosalind, Adele started off by trying to misinform the Ghanaian populace.
But you have 5 minutes, though.
And, it hurts me anytime a member of the NDC tries to spill such, I would say, weak propaganda. Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin, we didn't say he was not part of the NPP government, right? That's why we have something we call collective responsibility and then individual accountability. He was part of the Akufo administration and he was part of the Akufo-Addo administration. Let us judge him by his work. Has he been charged with any corrupt activity or investigated before? No. Has your candidate been investigated before for taking bribes? Yes. So what are you talking about? Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin, under his erudition and his vision, formulated policies beyond even Ghana. Today, we celebrate one common market as Africans, the Africa Continental Free Trade Area, right? This was his brainchild. He was the main architect in charge of that. In 1994, when Nelson Mandela left prison, he invited 7 experts to help build an enterprise economy in South Africa so that the black people in South Africa that have been highly destituted will be alleviated out of poverty. Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin was part of those experts that helped build that enterprise economy that South Africa is enjoying today. So if we're talking about, where was Mahama during that era? Do you understand? Mahama has been a minister before, right? If we compare Mahama's tenure as a minister and that of Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin, he will beat him with so much to his name. Then we talk about his presidency. President Atamils of blessed memory, and may his soul rest in perfect peace, blessed this nation with a rising economy, right? At 14%. That was the economy President Mahama inherited. He took this rising economy from 14% to 3.4% and then dumped it into the IMF as the president of this Republic of Ghana. And today you sit here, you are talking about 24-hour economy. Meanwhile, 4 years, you could not provide us stable electricity. And this short 4 years that you want to be president, you think he can salvage anything? No. I mean, he just wants to equalize, right? Okay. And he wants to rewrite his history of not being a one-time president or one-term president. That is the rationale behind he coming back. But if it's to salvage the economic situation, I don't trust President Mahama. We can't trust President Mahama with the economy. We need a leader who has the character, the competence, and the credibility. Honorable Alan Kojo Tremantin is promising of an enterprise economy, right? That would reorient our economy from an import-driven one to an export-driven one.
All right, now to our topic.
Anyway, the protesters. So, Rosalind, I was there. You know, our brother and colleague, Niai, was part of the people that were remanded. And he's a known communicator. Really? Yes, Niai, who sits here. Yes, Niai. Yes. Niai was part of those that were remanded by the police, unfortunately. And it seems this government has zero tolerance for the rule of law and the rights of our citizens. If you look at even the media space.
So then this tells you that it's not politically, motivated, right?
It is politically motivated.
The demonstration. Is it politically motivated?
No, I don't. No. I mean, we all drink water.
Yeah.
Water, you see, God, in his own wisdom, created water not to have... One of the properties of water is that it's colorless. So the water that we drink does not wear any political colors. Right. It's colorless, right? We are demonstrating because... And I took part in the just ended demonstration on the 3rd. Yes, I was there. We are demonstrating because this government has failed to live up to its expectation. In 2016, we cleared the incompetent government of President Mahama that was also indulging in galamsey, right? You promised us that you're going to salvage that situation and mitigate the menace of galamsey. Today, as it is now, 60% of our water bodies is gone. The turbidity unit of our water, the WHO required standard is less than 5. Today, Ghana Water Company is recording 14,000. Most of these galamsey sites are sites where our cocoa farms are being held. Most of them are being depleted. And today, we have a projected shortfall of cocoa revenue in excess of $1 billion, right? Rosalind, party apparatchiks, stores in the MPP were caught red-handedly engaging in the menace of galamsey. What did this president do? Nothing. The Attorney General, that Minister of Injustice, said that there was no evidence against them.
He's a Minister of Injustice?
Minister of Injustice.
Why do you call him that?
What interest would the Attorney General have in remanding innocent protesters? He was caught up again, in the case of Japa, do you remember, where he was trying to influence evidence against the accused. And then the judge advised him to recuse himself from the case. So, of course, he's a minister of injustice, and he's known that he has a record for that. If it was any other serious country, he would have been sacked or he would resign. What is the benefit? What does the state benefit from putting innocent citizens, remanding them, right, depriving them in the beginning of their legal counsel? We were all there. They moved them from cells to cells to cells just because they don't even want us to have access to them. Some didn't even get food to eat. Some were even remanded more than 48 hours against their constitutional rights. And if you look at the 1992 Constitution, right, Article 21D, right, all persons shall have the freedom.
1 minute to land.
All persons in Ghana shall have the freedom of assembly and procession. They charge them with unlawful assembly. What is unlawful assembly? What is unlawful assembly in our laws? They were there to demonstrate.
But you know, when we say unlawful assembly, we are trying to say that maybe where you were told to be, you were not
Rosalind,
there.
they wanted to demonstrate at the Jubilee, the forecourt of the Jubilee House. They were not allowed to go there. So they were at 37.
Were they permitted to be at 37?
Of course, they have it's their constitutional right.
No, but
the injunction, there was an injunction placed.
Okay.
The injunction was placed at Liberation Square and not the 37 roundabout.
Okay. But were they given a place to demonstrate?
That was where they were given.
They were given 37?
Of course. And if you...
But if they were given 37, then are you saying that the police is lying?
But even some of them, I'm telling you, I'll tell you, because I was in court throughout the 2 days. Some of them were arrested, not even at the site, but at home. Some of them were arrested as far as, Circle roundabout, sitting down having a drink, and then they just arrested them. I know that there were excesses in the protest. I condemn that. The burning of party flags and posters is one thing that I condemn. And of course, I saw it, right? And if the law would deal with them, that's fine. But you arrest innocent citizens. And there was even one person who was not mentally sound, who works for these military officers, and he washes their cars. So there was something that was told by the officer that if you meet any person in uniform, right, there's a popular mantra that he has to say so that the person will give him money. Kai Komi in Hausa means you have done everything. So the man went and he saw a lot of police officers and he just went close to one of them and he shouted, Kai Komi, and then they just arrested him.
All right.
No, this was actually said in court.
Okay.
It's in the court's record.
All right, I'll
so
come
what I'm saying is that
please.
the arrest of these innocent citizens was just a show of political power.
Okay.
By the executive.
All right. Adele.
Rosalind, let me start by answering one of your texters who was indicating that the NDC cannot boast of any factories that they did. See, what the NDC does is that we don't like to go around making noise. One district, one factory. These people, they just like slogans. Sorry, not you. I mean, your previous party. They just like to make a lot of noise. And
Did you have to do that?
No, it didn't click. After I said it, then I remembered he said earlier that he's not...
1D1F was our brainchild, so we'll own up to that.
Okay, that's fine.
So we will not shy
they just like to make...
We build more factories than your president.
Oh, no problem, no problem. Your colleague indicated, I have over 50 factories here, without one district, one factory, without specialized funding made available for it. Elmina Fish Processing, we did it. The Kumasi Shoe Factory, we did it. The Ayunsu Starch Factory, we did it. The Gold Coast Refinery here, right here in Cantonments, we worked on it. The Buipe Shea Factory, we did it. Ada Tomato Factory, we did it. We can keep going on. Avnash, we did it. Dalo
You say you should mention 6, so you've mentioned the 6.
So they can do all this noise. See, that doesn't solve any problem. That's
And
what
all
we're saying.
these are
Yes. In fact, even the Gold Coast Refinery, when they came, they said they have now going to set up a different one because they want to leave this one and go set up a new one. What we're saying is basic. We're saying that you have made so much noise in opposition before 2016. The life that you promised the people of Ghana and even promised your own party people is not the life they are facing. If the average MPP person knew, for example, that it will come to a time when they would actually buy, under this government, one small milk at almost 10 Ghana cedis or sugar at 10 Ghana cedis, I'm sure they would have probably declined it. So let's not come here and then make the thing look like you have failed, admit to it. Now, when we come to the issue of the gold, before I even go there, he mentioned the issue of Mahama was investigated and Allah has never been investigated. So when Mahama was investigated, they said he was guilty. Is that what it is?
Public official.
Oh.
Government official.
No,
one.
don't worry. And he's working.
Government official.
No
one.
problem. And he's working. If it is about allegations, everybody can make.
Who was government official?
Oh, my brother.
Was it his brother
Don't
in
worry.
the
Don't
Airbus?
worry.
You know,
Don't worry.
You know
Don't
when you
worry.
were speaking.
Don't worry.
please.
No, but
Don't
I
worry.
have to answer.
No, but you,
But
but
you-
you,
but
but
you-
you
what you were-
quoted
whatever you were
Mahama,
saying,
and you were
please-
speaking about Mahama. I kept quiet.
Please, Adele.
So let me also speak.
Adele,
You
please
can
make your
speak.
point so that we can.
So what I'm
point.
saying is that Mahama is still walking around. If there's anybody, if you feel that he has been held and there's something that he has been held to, everybody can make allegations. He's still working. Do what you have to do. He's an opposition leader. You can deal with him.
Let's go to the topic.
Let's go to the issue of the mining. I was listening to something, yesterday. I was just glancing through my cell phone, and then I saw a message from Madam Kate Jamfoa, which is the MPP's National Women Organizer. And Rosalind, the things that she said, it is one that is very, very worrying. One, because she's a woman. And she represents women in the New Patriotic Party and women in Ghana as a whole. She doesn't just represent women, she represents children for the mere fact that women raise children. And to hear her say that they are not going to ban illegal mining, they are not going to ban galamsey because NDC is pushing for that in order for them to lose the elections. So much such that she went on to say that when you have a tenant in the house and you want to sack the tenant, you give them 3 months grace period. So between now and December is grace period for illegal miners. Until we are done with the elections, then we can now come and sit down and deal with the issue. I was saddened. I'm sure she has kids. I saw some videos yesterday about this same galamsey on the Wager River. Funny enough, people were driving past there and then they didn't used to see the brown, So everybody was like, oh, as for Accra. Now it is becoming obvious. You can see people have started doing videos who live in the neighborhoods because of the hills that are around. People are doing the videos and you can see the brown cropping in slowly and it's coming. And all you can say is that we should wait. So does she even understand what it means? Do they even understand what it means to say that? Allow our children to continue drinking mercury and cyanide and lead infested waters. We should allow our kids to continue drinking this because somebody wants to win an election. It doesn't make any sense.
But you see, Adele, the thing is that I think Ghanaians really want to hear the NDC also say what they would do.
Rosalind, we have indicated what we are going to do. We have spoken about the blue water. We have spoken about the rubber plantation. We've spoken about the cotton plantation. Rosalind, listen.
Are you banning illegal mining?
We have spoken to it. Illegal mining is illegal mining.
So you're going to ban it?
Why not?
They're running mates.
Can you please. Why not? Why not? What we're telling the people of Ghana is that when you travel from here and you're going towards Osino, there are people standing by the roadside mining. You can't possibly have a license for mining behind the police station by the roadside. It doesn't make any sense. There are legal miners, we know. We're not disputing that. There are people who are doing rock mining, we know. We're not disputing that. What we're saying is that there are people on our river bodies. Why? When Abu Jinapo indicated that Akonta mining was mining in this forest, I'll find out the name of the forest, I'll check it again and come, and that what he was doing was illegal. Was Abu Jinapo NDC? No. Chairman Aluta, who is the Joabin chairman of the MPP, who is in the Bonfa forest, in Ashanti region, destroying the place, he's known to you. We're saying, why are all these people walking? You say we should give them grace period. The Ashanti region. I want to say something to, Madam Kate Jamfoa this morning. I want to say something to her. The Ashanti region is their stronghold. There are women and children in the Ashanti region who are drinking this water. The Otunfo say to. If Madam Kate is listening, she should listen. The Otunfo say to. He's been shouting and saying that you are killing my people. My people are struggling. Let's do something about it. The Komfo Anokye is being riddled with diseases that they haven't seen before. The Otunfo is still speaking. Madam Kate, you didn't hear that. The people in Ashanti region who vote for the MPP, who are the majority, like your stronghold, you're killing your own people. Okay, let's forget about the NDC.
But you know the president has actually said that, you know, the military should go on grounds to fight it. He's also said there's going to be a revocation of LI 2462. So actions are being taken.
Okay, Rosalind, revocation of LI 242, right? Okay.
2462.
246, sorry, forgive me. Parliament, as we speak, is, on recess. If the president this statement had come out and the information minister has said that they have triggered, Parliament to be recalled, then we can have a conversation. They're telling us that, those areas still remain a red zone. While Chairman Aluta is still mining, Akonta is still mining. They're telling us. What they're doing basically is what Kejemfo has said. What they're basically doing is they are just buying time. They are just buying time between now to December, just so it doesn't make any sense.
Rosalind, the hypocrisy of the NDC is something that we should not tolerate. You sat in Parliament in 2022 November, and you made sure that this LI was passed. So what are you talking about?
Who made sure?
Did you do anything to block this LI?
Make sure.
This LI 2464.
Make sure.
2462 was passed in Parliament November 2022. You didn't do anything.
Do you have the vote?
You could have done things. No, you could have done things.
I questioned them yesterday about it, and they said that the majority in Parliament.
Are you kidding me?
That's what they said. But however, do you know that some of your people also voted for this LI?
They know. They are also part. And the CDD report. If you want to see the truth in this,
I'm coming.
Go and read the CDD report of 2020.
What did it say?
It stated clearly that political parties, namely the MPP and the NDC, were benefiting from Galamsey kingpins who were financing your political activities. And of course, if there's an ally in Parliament that ensure that you go into our forest reserves to deplete it and destroy it, you had nothing to say about it. Look at the way you are making noise about the anti-LGBTQ.
Ramsey. So let me read
Sam George and co are making noise, demonstrating about the anti-LGBTQ bill.
Let me read some few messages. Good morning, Rosalind. Let me read some few messages. Good morning, Rosalind. If Baumia didn't win this election, I'll pack and leave Ghana. We are already experienced the mess we went through during JM regime. Ghanaians don't have short memories, as JM stated. Okay, so wow, then election, yesterday, I think that, was it Global Info Analytics was saying that on the 1st of December, they will give us their projection of who will win. If it doesn't happen, the man says you cut off his head. So on the 1st of December, the way I make ready, Meshach Asante at Abasaman says, hey, imagine Dr. Baumia and Apo as our president and vice president leading the country like it will be the biggest disaster among all disasters that has happened to Ghana, including June 3rd disaster, which happened in 2015. And no well-meaning Ghanaian want to hear this unfortunate news. So let us vote number 8 on the ballot paper for development, John and Jane all the way. All right, so I think that'll be all for these ones. I really wanted to read my messages, so I'll give each person a minute to wrap up. So let me start with you, Dr. Yunusa.
Rosalind, we've come at a crossroads as a nation. We need somebody who has the character, the competence, and the credibility to be able to leapfrog Ghana from poverty to prosperity. Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin has realized that, yes, there are structural weaknesses in our economy, and we want to provide a solution dubbed under the Great Transformational Plan to promote what we call an enterprise economy that would industrialize this country. Just as I gave the analysis of Malaysia, right? We were far better than Malaysia in 1957. But because we are still reliant on our primary commodities for exports and getting foreign reserves, right? We've not diversified our portfolio and added value to most of our natural resources. Right. Honorable Alan Kojo Tramantin is also promising of 3 million jobs for the youthful people of Ghana. And we've created a platform, a digital platform currently, that gives the youth of Ghana the chance to enroll on that platform so that when he comes, you can be able to have easy access to job through the strategic anchor industries that he wants to implement, the 10 of them.
Okay.
His new agricultural revolution, the Start Your Own Business initiative that will be supported by an entrepreneurship empowerment fund, right? And also, we would also create a traders bank for the first time in this country, because if you look at the supply of money to SMEs, right, it is little to less than 30%. And we want to increase that by creating this Traders Bank so that we can formalize the informal sector, widen our tax net so that we can reduce borrowing.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Inusa. Adele?
Winston said something earlier. He says, what does the people of Ghana want? They want good water, they want health, care, they want jobs and all of that. John Dramani Mahama is telling the people of Ghana and the young people of Ghana that he is bringing back what he spoke about in 2016, which is called the big push, $10 billion into the economy. You see, what people need to understand, I wish that Winston was here so I could say this to him. What people need to understand is that when you go around and you're building hospitals, what you're doing is that you're not just creating temporary jobs, you're creating permanent jobs. Certainly, it won't be goats that would be working, in the hospitals. You will need nurses, you need doctors. When you set up factories, that is basically what you need. When we established, and revamped the airport and made Terminal 3, it's people who are going to work in there. When you set up the hospitals and giving the healthcare, it's people who are going to be working there. John Dramani Mahama is saying that once we put $10 billion into the state, which is basically what we call the big push in infrastructure, you're creating temporary jobs and then creating permanent jobs. That is what basically is. Temporary jobs in the sense that from the time that Terminal 3 was going to be built, right from the start to the time it finishes, you need engineers, you need workers, you need, cement sellers are selling. It trickles down all the way to the last person. Every site, like the National Cathedral site, there used to be a woman there who was selling food, so it trickles all the way down.
Okay.
Assuming that they had built it, Nanado didn't spend God's money, and they had actually put it up. People would have benefited from it, and then perhaps they said that they were going to get some revenue from it. John Dramani Mahama is telling you that aside you having to go to the university for the first year, going for free, 10 billion he's putting in the economy.
All right.
He's saying that aside women coming and then getting benefits to develop their business.
Actually,
Rosalind, do you have a business? Wait.
Your time is up. What happened to the Hope City?
Rosalind, do you have a business?
Ask him what happened to the Hope City.
Why are you?
John Dramani Mahama promised the people of Ghana the Hope City.
Your time is done.
What happened to the Hope City? What happened to Jida? Tell us about Jida. Tell us.
I'm wrapping up. Dr. Ramsey, represents the Movement for Change, and also Adele Ibrahim represents the NDC this morning. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for making time for this conversation. Of course, we have other conversations coming your way. Today being a Wednesday, you do not want to miss our conversations.